Put on the whole armor of God. Brothers and sisters, this is a reminder that you should put on the whole armor of God. Not half an armor of God, but the whole armor of God. Do not allow room for the enemy to come into your life, to attack you. Do not allow the enemy to throw things up against your life. Be protected. Stand in the Lord, brothers and sisters. I know there are some of you that are going through a lot of things, and you may not have an idea that maybe you have the armor of God around you, but you do not have the complete armor of God. You don't have the whole armor of God. So I've come to remind you, this is an encouragement. This is a reminder that you should watch your steps, that you should put on the whole armor of God. Because what you are fighting against is something very different. Today's word is from the book of Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 to 13. Ephesians chapter 6, verse 10 to 13. And it reads, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of the wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, stand." Isn't this scripture amazing? That God lays out an instruction for you so that you may not fall into the enemy's trap. You know, this world is full of traps. This world is full of entities, diabolic forces that are after your life. That's why these scriptures are written, to guide us, to help us, so that when we stumble, we come up against each and everything that is trying to destroy us. We are able to stand. Now the scripture says, "Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the might of his power." The scripture says, "Be strong in the Lord and the might of his power." The scripture does not say be strong in your wealth. The scripture does not say that be strong in your friends. The scripture makes it clear that be strong in the Lord, not your friends, not your wealth, not your boss. Be strong in the Lord. Let the strength of the Lord be your strength. Have strength in the Lord. Find your strength in the Lord. Be strong in the Lord, not outside the Lord. Do not have your strength outside the Lord. Be strong in the Lord. I've always given this example of Samson, that as long as he followed God's instruction, he had his strength. When the enemies came up against him, he destroyed them. But when he started doing things that are outside God, he was led into a trap. We all know the story of Samson and Delilah, and how Samson got to lose his eyes and how he died. So my brothers and sisters, be strong in the Lord, not outside the Lord. Now the scripture says, "Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil." Now the scripture says, whole armor of God. From your head to the toes, put on the whole armor of God. If it is a helmet, put it on. If it's a breastplate, put it on. If it's a sword, put it on. It has to be the whole armor of God, not half an arm of God. Now the scripture says that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the enemy. Not walk against the wiles of the enemy. Not fight against the wiles of the enemy, because the battle is not yours. The battle is the Lord's. The scripture says that you may be able to stand, not to sit, not to jump, but to stand against the wiles of the enemy, of the devil. There are wiles against you to destroy you. These wiles are coming, brothers and sisters. That's why the scripture says, put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand Because they are coming. Whether you like it or not, these wiles of the devil are coming. So put it on, that you are prepared in the day when these things come. Some of you are experiencing them right now. Now, the scripture says, for we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts, against wickedness in the heavenly places. Scriptures makes it clear that we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. If you think your neighbor is the problem, then you are mistaken. Yes, I know the enemy can use your neighbor. The enemy can use your family to try to destroy you. The enemy can use your boss. I know. But it is not your boss that you are fighting. There is a spirit that is operating behind that boss. Instead of fighting your boss, instead of fighting those around you, go and stand. Stand against it. Just stand. All you can do is stand and leave the battle to God. How do you do it? You stand in prayer and pray about it. You fast about it. Because do not fight an enemy that you have no idea of. Let God do the rest. Just pray and let God do the rest. Because what you are wrestling against is against powers. They are powers. You are wrestling against rulers, against the darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts. These are things you're wrestling against. It is not just only darkness. It is not the only spiritual hosts. It is a combination of a lot of spiritual and diabolic forces. You are wrestling against spiritual hosts of the wickedness of the heavenly places. Notice their location. The Bible makes mention of their location. It is in the heavenly places. A lot of people think that the enemy is down beneath the ground, not knowing that he's in heavenly places. But above the enemy, above those heavenly places, is God himself. We all know that God is above everything. He's above the enemy. He's above him. That is it. God is above the enemy. That God is above everything. That we shall live with God. Brothers and sisters, I've come to the end of this message. If you've been blessed by this message, you can leave your comments in the comment section. Remember one thing, that Jesus, Christ of Nazareth, is Lord. He's Lord over everything. And Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and life. Jesus is the way. There's no other way, but it's only through Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Until next time, be blessed.